Hey, hey everyone! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Best of the Best Movie, the podcast where we figure out once and for all which movie is the best movie of all time. And we do that by taking the 28 best movies and putting them in a bracket tournament. Those 20 movies obviously come from the MTV Movie Awards.
Trophy's going to one of them soon.
I'm Brett, joined by Dustin and Dylan. Dylan, how you doing?
Hello. No, you went away. Oh. Dustin made you go away.
I didn't mean to.
I'm doing good.
So, a little look back. Round one is over. We're officially in round two. How do you guys feel about the first leg of the round? The first leg of the tour?
Round two, more like round poo.
That is not how he does not speak for both of us. That is not how we feel. I'm happy the first length is done. I'm happy that we're almost halfway done. Mainly because I'm really interested to see where the tournament goes from here on out.
Yeah. So, yeah, we still obviously have 4 movies that we haven't seen yet, but we're starting to rewatch movies. And that might, I'm not sure if that's going to affect us or not. Yeah, the MTV Movie Awards. There you
go. It's backwards, but deal with it.
It's not backwards for me.
Oh.
It's looking great for me.
Maybe Brett likes backwards.
Maybe you're living your life backwards.
We're in the Matrix.
Oh no!
Hey, no spoilies. But have you guys seen anything non-tournament related?
Watch Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
What was that?
Daniel Radcliffe shoot 'em a bang bang movie.
Oh, that's the picture with him with the two guys.
Yeah, a meme.
Very funny. In the movie, they make a joke that he gets like memed that from that picture, and then that picture's also the one that blew up online.
Oh, what's that movie? No spoilies. What's that movie about? Or should I just watch it? I don't know. Should I watch it? Any rack?
Did you ever watch Nerve?
No.
Kind of like Nerve meets Crank meets Gamer meets like
all these one-word titles.
Nerve meets Crank meets.
Nerve was the app where you would do dares, right? People would pay you to do dares. What happened if you didn't do them in Nerve? Would they hit you? Or something?
I think you want to get money, or you like lose social media status or something.
Dang.
You get bills.
I gotta do it then.
Yeah, so it's just like him fighting this one girl for the most of the movie, and like lots of humor because his hands are like bolted to the gun, so it's just lots of humor of him like trying to live his life while he's got the guns and trying to fight people.
Are you recommending it?
It's okay.
If you need something to watch or you want to see a really fun, fun, strange movie, yeah, sure.
What about you?
I finished the Umbrella Academy season 2.
Ooh.
I was a little more happy with it now that I watched the whole thing instead of just halfway through. Yeah, I mean, all these. I feel like every Netflix show, every season ends on a cliffhanger, which I oddly like. I like a good cliffhanger. So I liked where the show went. It was kind of predictable how the season was going to end, but hey, don't worry about it.
What are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do about it?
What are you gonna do? I liked it. I think I was a little mean on it halfway through, but I don't know.
I know you spanked it.
I just I bent it over and spanked it.
He's like, no. No, I thought it was really fun. I loved it. I've also finished Avatar, the show.
Oh,
The Last Airbender.
No one likes that, right? Everyone likes the movie.
Yeah.
The movie's really good. Why did that one?
The movie's the good one.
Why can't we have to watch that?
If we had to watch that, I'd leave.
We're talking about Avatar and not The Last Airbender, right?
I'm watching, no. Avatar, The Last Airbender, the show.
Okay, hold on.
Nickelodeon presents.
So they took the Na'vi, put him in the M. Night Shyamalan movie, made a show out of it?
No. The Shyamalan movie came first, dude.
Oh, okay. And then, So he was like, what happens if that lady gets out of the water? And then that's what happened?
No.
Yeah, it's a sequel to Lady in the Water.
I'm pretty sure it is. Did he direct After Earth, or am I mixing stuff up?
Yes.
I don't know why that.
Not a Mandela effect.
I don't know why that came to mind. I was like, that's a bummer that he did that.
Yeah, that's really sad. When you know like what the movie was going to be before they got involved.
Yeah. Speaking of Will Smith was supposed to star in a movie, but we'll get to that movie in a second.
Wild Wild West 2?
I think it was didn't he turn down The Matrix for the first Wild Wild West? The first
Yeah,
one.
he
The
did.
first
He
and
did.
only
He did,
Wild
he
Wild
did choose Wild West over The Matrix.
That's tough because it would be tough to go the Mama Matrix. I'm living in the Mama Matrix.
Yeah, he would have to have had he would have had to had a soundtrack original.
Yeah, what would have been the song to the Matrix? I'm bending down, dodging the bullets.
It would have been some funky and techno.
To Zion.
Pronounce it Xeon?
Zion.
All right, so it's round 2. We can forget about the Oscars. Who cares about the Oscars?
Frick the Oscars.
So let me talk about the 2000 MTV Movie Awards. And no, I'm not counting. That's just the year they came out in. I'm a little self-conscious about this. Now, DeAndre told me this is his least favorite part of the podcast, so now I'm going to rush through this.
So let's just go about this as slowly as we can.
Well, the good news is we only have to do it once because we've already talked about the 2014 one. So
That's true. Unless you want to recap.
Yep. Okay, so the 2000 MTV Movie Awards were hosted by none other than Sarah Jessica Parker.
Ooh, very interesting.
Sex in the City was blowing up.
Bad.
So, the opening bit to this award show is very well done, and it might be one of my favorite that Spider-Man stuff. It was Sarah Michelle Gellar in Sex in the City with not Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Don't mix them up.
She's in Sex in the City with the whole Sex in the City cast, telling her about how she met a guy named Neo and she introduced him to the Matrix. And it's like very well done. Like, it's very cool that they got the whole cast. They even got Lawrence Fishburne to be in it. And they even got none other than Jimmy Fallon to play Keanu Reeves.
That makes sense.
Which I thought was funny. Vince Vaughn even has a cameo as the White Rabbit. But he's only in it for like a second, so it was kind of fun. It was kind of weird, but she's just like telling her like this is a weird date, and all the Sex and the City girls are asking her. They're being. It was very funny. I would say look it up.
Okay.
That was the only bit from the show that I remember, at least. But on the Wikipedia, it says also it noted Parker's status as a fashion icon by appearing in no less than 15 different costumes during the duration of the awards. Even appearing in nothing but a bath towel at one point.
Wow, Scandalous.
Yeah, so the 3 performers, D'Angelo performed Devil's Pie.
Damn.
Ew.
Which is, of course...
That sounds gross.
That's about Dustin's butthole.
The Devil's Pie.
Metallica performed I Disappear.
I
disappear.
I don't know why. Yeah, it just sounds like a little kid doing magic. Like, here I am. I disappear. And last but not least, boy oh boy, NSYNC performed It's Gonna Be Me.
Whoa.
That's cool.
They did it back to back.
Hip to the meme at that point? Like, was it like April 30th?
The award show happened, hold on, June 3rd.
Dang.
It was May.
It was gonna be May.
Yeah, it's funny to think that Metallica and NSYNC shared a stage. But okay, let's get into the awards. The Best New Filmmaker Award went to Spike Jonze for Being John Malkovich.
Awesome.
Not the Wachowskis?
No, is this their first movie? Did they have a movie before this?
I'm sure Spike Jonze had a movie before this, but it's a breakthrough, right?
This actually is. I think Being John Malkovich is Spike Jonze.
That's his first, other than shorts, I'm sure. But by the way, Best New Filmmaker, there are no nominees. MTV just picks one.
Okay.
Best Fight went to Keanu Reeves versus Lawrence Fishburne for The Matrix.
Ooh.
I gotta say, they beat out some heavy hitters. I mean, Mike Myers versus Vern Troyer from Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Whoa.
Okay.
Who does number 2 work for?
I have to spoil a movie here.
Okay.
I'm sure you've seen this movie from 1999, but if I say the movie, Okay, I'll say I'm about to spoil Fight Club here for a second.
Okay.
Edward Norton versus himself was nominated.
Wow. Wow, that's hugely spoiler.
I'm sorry.
Not
was
for you, the theater.
Wait, do they mean like in reference to the twist of the movie or the scene where he's literally punching himself
I think
when he's
it's
like in the office?
Oh, sorry. So is it not a spoiler?
I don't think it's a
Oh,
spoiler
dang it. I take that.
because there's a scene where he's beating himself
Yeah,
up.
okay, that's probably what they're talking about. I'm
You
sorry.
just bleep this whole section out.
Yeah. I'm sure you've
That'll
seen
be-
Fight Club if you're watching a movie.
If a movie's over 5 years old, it's free reign to spoil.
I know, but I'm trying not to spoil it. But they also Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne also beat out. This is one of my favorite fights. Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor versus Ray Park for Star Wars.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
I would have chose that for sure.
It's the first Star Wars film in like decades, and it comes back and it loses in that.
Which is some say the only good part of that movie.
I don't believe it's decades. I think it was just a little longer than. I think it was like 17 years.
16 years, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know that kung fu fight in the Matrix is actually pretty cool. So I don't know.
Nice
No,
wire work.
it was cool.
Best musical sequence. This is actually one of my favorites, so I completely agree. Went to Terrence and Phillip for Uncle Fucka.
Love it.
From South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I legit love that song.
I love that movie.
I like the whole soundtrack.
I love that movie. One of my favorite musicals. Suck it, La La Land.
Why didn't they do Uncle Fucka in La La Land?
That would have been good.
Okay, best action sequence. I'm gonna make you guys guess the movie. Here we go.
Okay.
The Pod Race.
Oh.
Wait, I know this one. Scary Movie?
What? No, but it was from Star Wars. But let me see if you guys can guess these movies real quick. First off, rooftop helicopter scene.
Oh, that's
The Matrix.
That's the Matrix. I'm starting you off easy. Here we go. Sand monster scene.
The Mummy.
The Mummy. Whoa, great job. And
Wow.
this one's probably going to be the toughest. End sequence.
Ooh. End sequence?
Yeah, these movies came out in 99 to 2000.
Was that Fight Club?
No, but I'm sure, Dylan, I think this is one of your favorite movies of all time. I'm not sure.
It's an action sequence?
It's called Best Action Sequence. I wouldn't call
Okay.
it an action sequence.
I don't know. I'm
All right,
stumped.
It's from the Blair Witch Project.
Oh.
Definitely not an action.
That's not action.
Yeah, that's not really action.
Hey, imagine the guy from Crank running around that house at the end of the movie.
Yeah. That's the third Crank movie. To get his adrenaline up, he has to get Blair Witch.
I don't even know what that
Look
means.
at your adrenaline.
I mean, if you watch the first movie, you really don't know what that means. Like what happens in that movie? I don't know. I don't want to get.
Try and put a witch in my stomach.
Sorry, Crank. You gotta stand in the corner.
Stop calling him Crank. His name isn't Crank. Okay, best kiss. This is an obvious one. Went to Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair for Cruel Intentions.
Were people getting their names mixed up with the host and the?
I think it's just me because I was reading the list before. Okay, best comedic performance went to Adam Sandler for Big Daddy.
Oh, yeah. This is a good fucking year.
I gotta say, beating out a lot of good ones. Jason Biggs, American Pie, Ice Cube, Next Friday, Mike Myers, Austin Powers, and Parker Posey for Scream 3.
Wow,
wow, that's weird.
That is weird.
She wasn't like the most hilarious person.
But best villain went to Mike Myers for Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Ooh.
Who was nominated? Real quick.
Okay, Ray Park for Star Wars. Christopher Walken for Sleepy Hollow.
Weird.
And then Matt Damon for The Talented Mr. Ripley, which I've never seen.
He's a villain?
Oh, I haven't seen
Yeah. Have you guys not seen that movie?
No.
100% suggest it.
Okay.
Ah.
Sorry if that spoils it. I don't know that he's a villain. Okay, best on-screen duo went to Mike Myers and Vern Troyer for Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me.
Wow.
Again,
Big year.
beating out real big heavy hitters. I'm talking Tom Hanks and Tim Allen for Toy Story 2.
Ooh.
But Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne, Adam Sandler and Dylan and Cole Sprouse for Big Daddy. and Bruce Willis and Haley Joel Osment for The
Wow.
Sixth Sense. How'd they not win?
1999 was a crazy year. People say that's the best year in film, or one of them at least.
I mean, that's a really good year.
Okay, breakthrough female went to Julia Stiles for 10 Things I Hate About You.
Fair.
Which I gotta say, Heath Ledger was also nominated for Best Musical Sequence for
For the Joker?
For the Joker.
Wait, what?
Breakthrough male went to Haley Joel Osment for The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense.
Which one?
The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
I gotta say, all of these
good movie.
all of these breakthrough males are famous now. Wes Bentley, Jason Biggs, Michael Clark Duncan, and Jamie Foxx. They all went on to do great things.
Jamie Foxx.
For what? Any Given Sunday?
Given Sunday.
That's a good movie.
Okay, breakthrough female went to Sarah Michelle Gellar. All these women famous too. Drew Barrymore, Neve Campbell, Ashley Judd, and Julia Roberts.
Drew Barrymore? She was way established. By
I
that
guess
point.
this is just like their first time being nominated.
I don't know if that's true. Yeah, she was in E.T., wasn't she?
Firestarter, all that stuff when she was a kid.
Okay, and she was the youngest host. I think she still is the youngest host of SNL.
Oh.
Okay, best male performance went to Keanu Reeves for The Matrix.
Heck yeah.
Pretty good, but one of my favorite performances ever, Jim Carrey was nominated for Man on the Moon. I love that movie.
Ooh, dang.
That he did. I mean, it's really not, I'm not sure if that's what the MTV audience is into, but hey.
Right.
Okay, and did I say, Sarah Michelle Gellar was not a breakthrough female. She was best female. I read that.
That makes more
I
sense.
said breakthrough twice for the females. I'm sorry, females.
Wow. I think we need to restart.
Okay, and the best movie went to The Matrix, beating out American Beauty, which stars Dustin's favorite actor.
Yes.
American Pie, which stars Dylan's favorite thing to do. Austin Powers.
Wait, what? No, wait, what?
Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, and The Sixth Sense. The Sixth
That's your favorite thing to do.
My favorite thing.
What thing in American Pie are you referring to?
What do you think?
The bone in the pie?
Yeah.
Okay.
What else happens?
I don't know, putting laxatives in your friend's drink?
Oh, don't do that. That happened to me.
Spying on a woman who's getting naked.
Yeah. We just watched all these movies.
Yeah, we just watched all the American Pie movies recently. So
I doubt you watched all of them. I'm sure you watched the theatrical.
Okay, we don't count those.
Okay, we don't count what
Those aren't canon.
Oh, you don't.
American
They
Pie
are
Presents.
canon. They are.
They're
Canon.
not. They're not. American Pie Presents does not matter.
They are canon, and they're in the books.
Oh, fine. Well, I guess we gotta go watch them.
They're
Dustin.
I guess we gotta read the books too.
They're
so.
not legends. They're not legends until Disney buys the American Pie series.
Yeah. And then they make some with the
So
Avengers.
let's talk Matrix. Let's talk.
I think
Neo.
I think all of the nominees that should have won, although I do love The Sixth Sense. So either one,
Yeah.
I think deserve.
I mean,
Or American Beauty. That movie's really good.
yeah, but I think okay. So I'll talk about me for a little bit. So the
talk about you.
We're gonna go.
Matrix, I mean, everyone has seen The Matrix in high school and whatnot. It's one of these movies you just see all the time. At least me. Like, it was always on and stuff. And I felt like I've always liked it. But whenever people were talking, I was like, all right, let's just get to the bending backwards. Let's get to the... let's get to that. When I watched it this time, I was like, oh boy, this movie is so incredibly good. Like,
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say boring.
for some reason, I just like wasn't paying attention when I was watching it in high school. I don't know. I was probably thinking about girls.
Right.
I was thinking about
We
boobs.
have a very similar experience with this.
So this time I was like actually listening. I was actually like, whoa, this is what The Matrix is. I like, for some
Yeah.
reason, I just never clicked with me. I was like, wow, this movie.
We had a very similar journey with this because I realized watching this, I've probably only seen this once.
Whoa.
It was one in my mind. I was like, oh, I've seen The Matrix a bunch. But then watching, I'm like, oh, I think I saw this once in 2002. And I think in my mind, I think I've seen a lot because this is arguably, other than Star Wars, maybe the most referenced thing in like pop culture, would you say?
Probably.
Probably.
I'd say this is probably one of the most
one of the
influential
top three or five, at least, if it's not number one.
It's like one of the most influential films in this century.
But this movie had a strange effect on me. where I didn't have time, but I really wanted to watch the sequels. And I know the sequels are bad. I know the sequels are bad, but like the world they built, and I know in the sequels they get to like the creator and all this stuff. I'm like, that sounds interesting. And I know there's even like werewolves and stuff. And I'm like, that's.
I never saw 3. I saw 2, and I was like, I'm good.
But and I love it when people are afraid of the highway. So I'm really interested in checking out these sequels. But,
maybe I will. Yeah, I don't know. But this was I thought to me this movie was always just like a very niche movie. Like, oh, this is like kind of like Blade Runner-y, like a certain, or like Dune, like a certain subsection of people. Though I finally watched Blade Runner for the first time a few years ago, and I love that movie.
Ooh, I didn't like that movie too much.
I like that movie a lot more than 49. But to me the Matrix is always just like an aesthetic movie. Like, oh, this movie's all aesthetics. But yeah, similar to what you said, I was paying attention, listening to everything they said, and it's like, oh, this movie's pretty great.
Dustin, you got a face that says I don't agree.
No, I do agree. I'm just listening because like
I face kind of like. All right. Wait till
when he was talking about Blade Runner, I was like, I just didn't like
Blade Runner didn't click with me, but
I liked it a lot. I'm a sucker for like neo-noir.
Which one did you watch?
I think
the 2007 director's cut.
If I rewatched it again, it would have to be like in theaters, like on a reshow, or like I'd have to watch it like in my house, like alone again.
You just listed every way to watch a movie. What do you want?
I watched it on my phone. I watched it on a computer.
I mean, I watched it with people the first time.
You're like, I need to see it at theater or at home or at a friend's house.
Or in a restaurant.
It's just playing on a TV at a B-dubs.
No, The Matrix is because I unfortunately I didn't get to watch it the way I wanted to this time because
we don't need to talk about that.
No, it was my fault. I put it off, and then and then I didn't get to watch it the way I wanted to, so I had to watch it on my phone at work.
So we should say that we share. I'm not sure if this is legal, so this is all hypothetical.
Well, we all have access.
Hypothetically speaking,
we might all have access to the same Voodoo account.
Hypothetically.
Hey,
This is all like metaphoricals, like ethereal.
What if we shared a Voodoo account and we somehow watched?
Wait, we share a Voodoo account? I thought we shared a Voodoo doll.
Okay.
Wait, you guys been touching my Voodoo doll?
Hypothetically, let's say maybe if we shared a Voodoo account, somehow we separately we started the movie at the exact same time. Though you were 3 minutes ahead of me.
Yeah, we were there, and I kicked us out.
But since I was second, I got to keep it, I guess. Or you guys were just nice. I didn't realize I kicked you off.
Yeah, I think it just stops whoever was watching it first and it kicks to the new person who's watching it, like assuming that you went to a new device or something.
It could have kicked you theoretically, but we're good people.
Yeah. So, I was already tired. I was like, I'm not going to be able to stay up anymore. So I just watched it at work. It was very slow, so I watched it on my phone. It was like I should not have watched it on my phone. There was so many times I had to pause and walk and do something else and come back and keep watching it. And
to be fair, like Roger Ebert, he used to always watch movies on his phone when he reviewed them professionally. So it's the same.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he died before that technology.
We're reviewing a movie. This is serious business, and you're over there watching on your phone.
Listen, I had two options.
Hey,
I can either bitch out.
Quibi changed the world, okay? Quibi told the world, you don't change anything.
So the film, I think the film looks so beautiful. I do hate the green at one point. I'm like the green is too much.
In some scenes.
You know what you should do? Watch the DVD. The DVD doesn't have the green.
Because it was the conversion.
The compression or something. So when Blu-rays came out, it was like the first time you could watch the theatrical, how Bill Pope or Bob.
Yeah,
because I remember it being more purpley and gray.
Like grayed out. Yeah.
I like the green. I think it's cool.
I think it looks really good. And then about an hour in, I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks.
I get it.
It's like.
But I'm with Brad. It didn't really bother me. I'm somewhere between you two.
This has the same director of photography as Scott Pilgrim versus the World, so you should.
And Team America World Police.
Yeah. Okay, because the director of photography has a lot to do with the editing process. That makes a lot of sense.
With the coloring, yes, he does. Boy, oh boy.
No.
Yeah,
He sets the plate. He sets the plate for the colorist.
it's acting like he films the movie and then just walks away. He's like, done with that thing. Not gonna have any input on that at all.
We were
You
joking
want to go out back
before.
and fight, Dustin?
Yeah, let's go out back and fight. We both live in the same place. Let's go.
Yeah, get off my Voodoo account.
But
We were both joking beforehand, before the podcast. What I was saying, I was watching this and I initially thought at some point there's a case to be made that the main characters are the bad guys.
dude, they fucking suck. Humans suck in this world.
Because we were talking, like, Agent Smith makes a lot of good points.
I also completely agree. I don't know his name, but who's the guy who flips on them?
Cypher.
I completely agree with.
Yeah, I was saying, we said that. Yeah, I was like, I identify with you.
He's like you took me out of this. It's not really a dream world because Agent Smith mentioned that the dream world didn't work. Humans didn't accept it. So they took me out of this like real world, like a good world, I guess, and took me to this awful piece of shit where now I'm a part of the resistance that I didn't want to be a part of. And it's
he's like, I just want to go back, not remember anything, and be rich. And I was like, dude.
100%.
He would have had it if he just didn't talk so slow and had to be so dramatic with the unhooking of everyone.
Yeah, that's just movie.
If he just would have
that's
been
just typical movie bullshit.
If he'd have been so fast, it'd just be like, plug.
That's what I would have done.
Instead, he's like, "Hey, Trinity, I
want to do you.
I gotta talk to you and tell you everything that's going through."
I gotta argue with you.
Joey Pants is great though, but there's
both of them are from Memento, which is fun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
We can
John G.
call this a crossover.
That's true. So speaking of Trinity, well, two things. One, a negative for this movie is I didn't fully buy her falling in love with Neo. It felt like it was sort of ham-fisted and forced. But the beginning with Trinity, I think, is like probably like a perfect opening.
Oh yeah,
Like everything about that was perfect. It's similar to Star Wars in my mind, where it's like it doesn't have major exposition. It just puts you in this world and like, okay, this person does this, these people do this, and then you just have questions like, why did she get into the phone booth and like disappear? So it's like you're establishing this world while wanting answers. So then when exposition comes later, it's like earned. It makes me think that a lesser movie would have started with Morpheus's narration, over the visuals of the machines pod, like in the year 2100 they started doing this, and now we live in the Matrix, and then the title card, and then, like goes to Neo's house.
The monologue at the end of the movie would have played at the beginning.
Right.
I feel
so. All the times when Morpheus is like having these major exposition dumps, which is a huge part of the movie, which I didn't realize. For better or for worse, I think it's more or less earned.
I think how I took her love for Neo is less, it's kind of mean. I think it's less about Neo, more of him being the one. Like, she's so, like...
she loves the one.
She's, like, astounded by what he can do.
The idea of
She's a cloud chaser.
Yeah.
No, I think when you're in that kind of situation where, like, you're fighting together and, like, you're doing crazy shit like that, I think it just, like, amplifies those feelings. So like she probably meant it.
Yeah. I was gonna say that she didn't have much to pick out of, but I don't want to be rude to Mouse, but everyone else on the ship, they were pretty. They were pretty sexy. So I guess she did have pretty good options.
I want to Tank more. Did Tank die?
No, Tank's the one that lived.
Yeah,
okay.
I
don't think he comes back in the sequels, and he's fantastic. I loved his character.
Yeah,
he's like, I'll be your operator today. I'm just born in good old fashioned.
He gets replaced by the guy from Lost.
Yeah, I think it's his brother.
He just gets replaced. The actor didn't want to come back and make money.
I don't know. We got to watch the sequels.
We're gonna have to watch the sequels.
He said, "I don't want to come back and make money."
No, I don't like money.
So you're offering me cash?
Isn't that what Katie Holmes did with Dark Knight, though? She was like, "Mm-mm."
I don't know. Was that a Scientology force thing?
Oh, maybe it's the same thing with this guy.
Maybe he's a Scientologist. Who knows? Maybe this whole movie is a metaphor for Scientology.
Maybe we should join.
Oh, you aren't already joined?
Huh?
We're on our way.
But yeah, I feel like I have only two negatives about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
One is I don't know if it's a me problem, but boy oh boy, the sound effects are so loud and the dialogue is so quiet. And
we have the same thing. I think that's a voodoo thing. I think that's a digital compression thing. I feel like it doesn't happen on Blu-rays.
No, I think it is this movie because any of the movies that came out before like 2005, 2006, all like Gladiator did the same.
Yeah.
I think all those movies just have that issue where like they were properly sound mixed for theaters. They weren't properly sound mixing for home media just yet.
Yeah, because I was messing with my soundbar remote, changing it from like voice to cinema to like all these different options, and I had to like lower and that. I was like a DJ. I put subtitles on for a little bit, but the subtitles were delayed, and I feel like it was hurting my head, so I had to turn those off. It was a whole big mess. The other problem I have, which is a problem with the story, I guess, when Morpheus is explaining what happened to the Earth, he kind of just casually mentioned that like the robots were rising up and they were solar powered. So he just says the humans scorched the sky.
Yeah.
He just kind of brushes that off. Like, yeah, the humans just scorched the sky. So
how did they do it?
I'm like, what does that mean? And how does that not destroy the Earth? Like, we kind of need the sun. I know that's why Earth is being destroyed, but I feel like we can't live on it. Or
one of the reasons why I might be pro agent.
But it was just so like, yeah, the humans scorched the sky, and then the robots started farming us for batteries. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, but can you go back to that whole sky thing? Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah, I guess theoretically they could have dispersed an agent that like blocked out UV rays, but still allowed like the heat to get through. So like the planet becomes colder, and they don't get any sunlight to warm their to power the energy cells. But at the same time, we don't like die off.
Yeah, it's also a little weird that like, so the Matrix is a computer program. If I got this right,
a simulation.
And the agents are like people who find the people who are bad and stuff. But if you're running a computer program and you could see the person running around, couldn't you just like delete them, or couldn't you do something? Is there like a control? Like, if it's a computer, shouldn't it be much easier than like having another computer program find it and track it down? Can't you just,
I think it's because they're
delete.
Well, that's kind of what they do when they hack into like people's bodies. They're essentially just like killing that person.
Yeah,
I think since they're going after people who are like Zionists, if you will.
Ooh.
I think since they're like unplugged, I think they're more self-aware, and they're not just programmed in the Matrix. They're sentient beings like the agents are. They're sentient computer programs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like if you're looking around in code and stuff like that, because that's all it is, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like you could see a person running around your town and be like, oh, that's...
you put the picture up. We were also wondering, like, why did the machines still give them like a brain,
consciousness?
Yeah. Why weren't they just like mush brains and then just use their body heat to make
I feel like they did lots of testing before. I mean, I know the sequel.
They went through some beta testing.
I love when they mentioned, "Hey, we try to give the humans a dream world."
Yeah,
but it didn't work out. I really want to see that movie where these people are like, and they slowly realize, "Hey, this isn't real." I think.
Yeah, the interesting moral idea put forward by this movie is that like humans created AI, and then AI is like, hey, we think we're better than you. This is natural. I mean, this is natural evolution. You're about to become the secondary species here, and humans are like, fuck that. They start a war. They black out the sun.
They scorch the sun. They scorch the sky.
They fuck the planet up to the point to where the androids are like, okay, well, you done fucked everything up. You're now our power supply. And it's like, I don't think, it's like, we can all be like, those dirty fucking machines. But it's like, humans would 100% do that.
Yeah.
They would have, first off, they fucked the planet up. And then they would 100%, if we found out, I made the joke to Dylan earlier, I was like, if we found out that we could power the planet on cow farts, like those cows would be done. Those cows would be in boxes immediately.
Especially if those cows were going around scorching the sky.
Exactly. I mean, that's what you have to say. So it's like, also they tried to be nice and create like a utopia for us. And we fucked it up. We like wouldn't accept it. So it's like, I think humans are the bad guys in this one. I think natural selection is like, AI is like, hey, we're better than you, fuck off. And humans are like, no, fuck you. And so it's like, okay, well, talk shit, get smacked.
I will say that the world
That's my summary of the Matrix.
the world the machines live in doesn't look too fun. I mean, I guess we're not machines, so we don't know what machine fun.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about aesthetic.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
I just don't know what their like life is like. I mean, we only see the ones that kind of like go around looking for people. We don't really see the ones that just hang out.
Maybe it gets into it in the sequels.
I want to see robots hang out, like what they do from day to day. But if you want a Katie review, Katie watched this with me, and she said it was very, very boring.
Oh, well,
Wow.
Which was weird.
That's not.
I thought she was into it when we were watching it, and then at the end, she was like, "That was very boring." And I was like, "Oh."
It didn't get too slow for me. It is a movie that definitely keeps its pace up, and then right when you think you have something figured out, it like introduces this new thing or something cool happens. So,
I'm like, I might watch a sequel.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be interested. I've never seen 3, so
Another. While we're wrapping this up, I just wanted to mention that to me, the Matrix is always like the slow mo and the green or the gray or whatever. I didn't really remember or realize that there's like a lot of like really cool other stuff like visually and filmmaking wise. Like I don't know, the scene where they're going through the walls, that was cool. And there's like some really great like old style like detective noir film stuff, like with the long shadows and like the what's that called when it's like the rack focus?
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff in here for a sci-fi movie.
There's dual focus in the film a lot, which I think adds to the like simulation feel. I think this film is, first off, the sets are amazing, the costumes are amazing, the action is amazing. I think this is, I would say this is probably like the most influential film, like I said earlier, of the century. So it's like,
it's like you only get one of these movies only comes around every like 10 to 15 years.
There's not a single movie that this film didn't, and especially not action or sci-fi film that this movie didn't touch.
Would you
I think the closest thing a movie has come to being so influential in both movies and pop culture after this was probably Inception, and then after that, it's probably just like John Wick.
I was probably gonna say our generation's Matrix is probably American Pie presents The Book of Love. That's probably either that or Bandcamp, one of those two, because
that is the best American Pie.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about real quick the what the creators of this movie have recently said?
Oh, I don't have enough research to go.
Well, I mean, all they said.
I know they said that the both directors are now a trans woman,
Transgender,
transgender women.
They're both they're sisters now. Yeah. And they have said that they wrote The Matrix as kind of like a metaphor for being trans and like coming into like figuring out who you really are and that stuff. But I don't know, because they have said that the fourth movie that is coming out will have a trans character in it and will focus on that trans character. So that's good.
I'm actually like watching this. They were making the fourth movie, and it was something that's kind of under my radar. I was like, they're making a fourth Matrix. I was like, the cast is great. It's got Jonathan Groff and like a bunch of other cool people, and Neil Patrick Harris. And then I was like, I'll check it out. But now that I've seen this, I'm like, I'm actually excited for this fourth movie.
You might want to watch the sequels, because I remember the third one.
You're right.
I remember the third one being boring as heck, and I haven't liked any other Wachowski movie. I mean,
Speed Racer has now gotten some sort of cult following, and I think people are mixed on the other one.
People love Cloud Atlas. But I try to get through that. Jupiter Ascending is like crazy nonsense.
Well, I think this is the first movie where they're not a directing team. It's just one of them, the fourth Matrix.
I will say the Wachowskis have broke ground on a couple of levels. The other one is with, I believe it was Jupiter Ascending. It was either that or Cloud Atlas, where they had three directors. It was the two sisters and someone else. I forget who the other person was. And the DGA, the Directors Guild Association, was like, no, you did not have three directors on that movie because it doesn't take three people to direct a movie.
No, you didn't.
They basically fought them. They were like, no. It was all three of us directed this movie together, and they were like, no. Like, it was like a weird thing.
Who was their director?
I forget who. It was like their writing partner, but
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, it was Steven Spielberg. But I thought that was interesting that they fought back and was like, no, the three of us directed this movie because DGA wasn't having it. They were just like, doesn't.
So weird.
DGA is very weird. They sued George Lucas.
For what?
Because the Star Wars movies don't open with a film by George Lucas.
How early was this?
This was in the so the first Star Wars they were going to sue George Lucas because it didn't open with a credit to him directing it. But
so
he got around it because the opening starts with a Lucasfilm production. The problem is the sequels he did not direct. So he ended up getting sued for the sequels.
It's very weird.
But he just took the lawsuit. It was like, okay, this is like a fine I'm willing to
pay your cash, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. Very interesting. DGA is very weird. Then again,
tweet at them.
Then again, I'm not in it, so we should probably get on to the second movie.
Yeah, let's get to the next movie.
Yeah, final words. Matrix is fun. I'm glad I rewatched it finally.
I want to watch
it
again.
I have a new appreciation for it.
I want to watch this again.
Speaking of watching movies again, we watched the 2014 MTV Movie Award winner, The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, our first returning movie of round 2 going against The Matrix. I'm not going to recap all the awards, but it was hosted by Conan O'Brien. So have fun with that.
It's I'm trying to remember what we spoke about the first time. So so this is a little new for all of us how we recap. We'll figure it out as we go. But I thought of a new segment I want to get into that we might do for these here on out, which I wish I would have done before.
Should we show feet? Should we show our feet?
Yeah, we can show our feet, but that's not what I was talking about.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
There's a 6 degrees between this movie and the one that we watched. So The Matrix, of course, stars Keanu Reeves.
Heard of him.
Who is in...
Heard of him.
Oh, okay, good. Who is in Constantine, which was directed by Francis Lawrence, who directed this movie.
Whoa. For some reason, I thought you were going to go Shia LaBeouf. I was like, did Shia LaBeouf have a connection to anyone?
No, so I'm going to try to find a fun 6 degrees.
That's very fun.
We agree. We love this still.
Yeah.
Yay!
I have to say, listening to that was 1,000 times more fun than rewatching this movie.
No!
I was so bored watching this movie for the second time. I was like, it wasn't as bad as Lord of the Rings. I got through the movie and made it to the credits, but boy, oh boy, I was like, oh my God, I do not want to watch this again.
Oppositely to you, as I was watching it, looking back at it, I'm like, keep being impressed at how much I like this movie. I think it's like,
and you guys haven't
really well made.
You haven't watched it on Blu-ray yet either.
That's true.
Because the Blu-ray extends into the IMAX.
I think for being, I have pits on my throat. For being something that could have been easily like YA.
Wait a second.
Money grabbing crap. Movie's like really good.
What?
Dylan, did you just say you have jizz in your throat?
That's all in my throat.
You fucking got you.
Kind of sounded like you said you have jizz. What do you?
Dude, I don't have jizz in my throat. I swear. Check.
Yeah, can we play that back?
Check my throat, dude.
I'm not gonna check your throat, bro. That's freaking weird.
But I was not bored. I think this movie is really well made, and watching it a second time, or a third time technically in my life, this I like that The Hunger Games is really only like 45 minutes of this movie. I like that it's so like character driven.
Well, that's because the first movie was all Hunger Games. If we had to sit through another Hunger Games, that would be. I have a question. I think I know the answer already. Now, I guess I should be quiet. I was gonna say, why is this book and movie called Catching Fire? I know her dress catches fire. But is that it?
Oh, I don't know. Catching Fire might be a euphemism for like the revolution catching fire, like the idea.
She just like they couldn't name it Mockingjay because she knew the third book was going to be Mockingjay.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I'm boned here.
They could have called it a fight to the death.
They could have called it. They could have called Spinny Boy.
I think the name The Third Quarter Quell. I thought every time they said that, I was like, that's fun. I like that name.
Try putting that on a poster.
This is The Third Quarter Quell,
starring Jennifer Lawrence.
Watching this movie again, yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's like I'm trying to find new fun in it. So like I'm like. The parts that I think are funny about this movie unintentionally are still very funny, which is like just the very strange sexual acting that's coming from Lawrence and like several other actors.
Lawrence Fishburne was not in this movie.
Sorry, got my movie.
That's racist, Dustin. You think all Lawrences are?
All actors are Lawrence Fishburne. but I was paying more attention to like the fashion in this movie, and I was like, "Ooh, the costumes in this movie are so fucking cool." The cinematography, I was like, "Oh, the angles are like interesting, but like they're nothing too interesting. They don't like take you away from the movie." I don't know. It's hard to say anything new about this movie because this movie is so fucking bland compared to The Matrix.
This movie felt like an
I think
episode
it's bland until it gets to the Hunger Games.
Well, yeah, then the Hunger Games is like, it's like, whoa. Oh, yeah. That was a question I had this time was like, okay, so every year they're putting together some Hunger Games using some super crazy, big, expensive island. And like at the same time, they're going around all year being like, hey, we need coal from your district or we're going to friggin' murder you. And it's like, well, what? Wait, maybe if you stopped using all these resources to kill our kids, we wouldn't be fighting to have so many resources. Like, I just don't understand.
I think that's why they want a revolution, is because it doesn't make sense.
I just don't understand, like, what President Snow's thinking is, like, why not just friggin' blow the brains out of the kid? Like, to be real, instead of like, hey, here's a $3 billion tournament location that we're gonna probably destroy.
But that's not entertaining to watch. Just a kid get shot in the head by the president.
I mean,
if the kid's just in the middle of the lawn and he's just like,
once a year the president saves a turkey. Also, once a year he murders a kid.
But how many people tune in for that turkey pardon? Not that many. Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, families gather around the TV, maybe, but it's not this Super Bowl event.
President Snow gets all the kids in a big circle. He goes there. He closes his eyes. He shoots a bow in the air. And then when it lands, it hits a kid and the kid dies. If they live, they live.
You know what I think would be more interesting to watch? If the Hunger Games did this instead. Have you guys seen the movie Circle? It's like it's all over Netflix. The general premise, without spoiling anything, people kind of just wake up and they're being forced to like vote each other out, like one by one. Like they kill someone.
Yeah.
And the voting's like very secretive and stuff. I think it would be very cool if the Hunger Games was just that every morning, like every year. It's just them and they talk it out
every morning.
Every morning there's a circle and we vote to die.
But like because it's very just dialogue driven. I mean, that movie is very low budget, just people standing in a room just talking.
Yeah, I love that movie.
And I think it's very well done. I think that'd be more interesting to watch of like because you get all these people from different walks of life. It's like who do we kill and how do we decide this rather than I got a bow. I don't know which one. Maybe you can have both. Hey, do both. If you got all this money, let's see them both.
Rewatching it this time, having remembered that Philip Seymour Hoffman is actually a good guy, spoiler alert, I was definitely paying attention to his actions as to like what he was doing. So
why did he spin the island?
That's what I was thinking of. He could have totally wrecked Katniss. She could have gotten like smeared.
I don't get that part. I feel like he wasn't helping her at all because I
think he was just putting on the show.
Yeah, but she could have gotten creamed, dude.
Well, I mean, not really, because like you get thrown off, and then like you go in the water. If you saw the 3D graph, it's spinning above her. So as long as she doesn't come back down, she's fine.
No, because one person fell down and died. The cannon went off instantly. Someone fell in the water, and the cannon went. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what happened. Like it just sucked her down. So they really put Katniss in danger there. Dude, another weird thing is, I feel like, for obvious reasons, I feel like the Hunger Games end abruptly. Like I haven't seen the next movie, but I feel like there's all these like characters like running around and it kind of just blows up and she gets taken out of it and the movie ends. And I'm like, well, what happened to the scientist guy? What happened to the girl who was naked?
An update since the last time we talked about this movie. We did rewatch all the other movies, or not the first one, but we went back and watched the final part 1 and part 2.
What happens in it? Spoilers.
Pretty much everyone that's you were just saying that's running around like here, there, and there. They come back. Some die in the last movie. Some stay alive.
But if I'm watching just this movie, I felt.
Yeah, it's definitely not meant to be a movie that you can view on its own. You definitely need to understand the events in the first movie, but more importantly, if you want more out of it, I guess you follow it up. Though I think it's probably like one of the best cliffhangers I've seen in a long time for a movie.
It's also the best of the Hunger Games movies.
I think it's the best movie ever. No, of the Hunger Games.
I mean, it's one of the 28 best, and now it's like one of the.
True. That's true.
Hold on.
That's why we're here, boys.
I'm ready to.
Every time I watch it, though, I'm like, wow, this cast is insane.
We also said it's one of the 16 best movies of all time.
No, that is true.
That is true.
Yeah.
But will it come down to one of the best 8 of all time?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say. I'm kidding.
I feel like I don't have much to say about this movie other than I was super bored watching it. I was also very confused with why Woody Allen?
Woody Allen, your favorite actor, and you agree with everything he does and says.
Yes, Woody Harrelson. Why he just gave him like a spigot? I mean, yes, they got water. I feel like why don't they give him better presents and stuff? Give him
What's the they needed water. What's a better present than that?
An Xbox.
Get him a copy of Hustler.
God, give him a Apple Watch.
Hey, a crank round, brother.
I don't know, but like,
were you bored because you already knew what was going to happen, and so you weren't as engaged? Or?
I think I was a little bit bored the first time watching it, so I think you guys were higher on this movie than I was the first time. I mean,
I like it a lot.
Went against The Fault in Our Stars, so
that's true.
It's not like
imagine if The Matrix is going against that.
Yeah, the fault would be on immediately, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have had this discussion. It would have been a 5-minute episode of like, let's vote Fault in Our Stars.
Fault in Our Stars did make me cry. Neither of these two movies made me cry.
This movie made me cry.
What? Why? Because you're jerking it too hard?
I'm so horny.
Cry because he's so horny.
I'm so horny.
But there wasn't, other than the elevator scene, there's nothing really too horny in this movie.
Dude. That elevator scene, dude. That's...
What are you talking about? Katniss is horny for 2 boys.
She's super horny the whole movie.
I don't know. I felt like she was always complaining. She was always like, meh.
Complain because you're so horny.
She's like, Peter, don't die. I'm horny.
Yeah, he didn't make his face into a cake this time. I was pretty bummed. He made his face into a cake in the first movie.
Oh. What?
He used.
He turned into a rock.
Don't you remember when he like painted himself?
But
no.
He's a cake decorator, and he made himself look like a rock. But potentially he does that on cakes, not himself.
So yeah, I mean, people would have walked past. They wouldn't have seen rocks. They would have seen a cake.
Moving on, cakes. Nothing to see here.
Hey, that's a cake. Eat that cake now.
I also don't like the whole. I mean, I know it's the third quarter quell. I thought the whole thing with, I don't know, with the island itself killing them, I always find that boring. I'm like, imagine watching in your favorite character.
Isn't that the whole story of Lost?
Okay, this isn't Lost, okay? I'm saying, say you're a viewer of the Hunger Games and you love the naked girl in the elevator, and she gets like killed by poison gas out of nowhere. You'd be like, oh, I want her to get killed by Katniss or Smarty guy. Like, I don't know. Them just getting killed by a baboon is pretty, I don't know. It just wasn't cool in my opinion.
Getting drowned in blood.
That one's a little interesting, but like I feel like if you're really rooting for someone watching, like you place bets on someone, like $20 on Naked Elevator Girl.
That's true. You're thinking from a betting standpoint if you're a consumer in this world.
Imagine how mad you'd be if like
or a sponsor.
A water.
Brett's always taking the betting. You know, he was texting me. He was like, I bet you this Neo guy's gonna get killed by the agents, and I was like, dude, I'll take that.
He does.
That's
and
true.
So you freaking owe me, dude.
No, then he came back. That
wasn't part of the bet. He died and he got kissed to life, which we didn't talk about.
You won't get that $20K. You're never gonna get it.
Dude, I vote The Matrix.
I vote The Matrix.
Well, I also vote The Matrix, though.
I vote The Matrix. I'm doing this.
Vote The Matrix.
I vote The Matrix 2, but...
The Matrix 2? What? No.
Whoa, an upset!
That's not called that. It's called The Matrix Reloaded.
Now we got a
Matrix colon reloaded.
Let me put it in. Okay, it's a landslide for The Matrix. Going on to round 3.
And the 6 degrees between the last round is very easy. Between the Star Wars, Force Awakens, and the Avengers, Chris Hemsworth was also in Star Trek 2009. He plays Kirk's dad, who directed both those movies.
Daniel Dunker. Oh,
it's me, JJ.
Let me get off my moped, baby.
Me and Dustin, I don't know if we told you this, but me and Dustin have this bit where where J.J. Abrams is like this very like gross, sleazy Hollywood executive, and he threatens to make everything Cloverfield.
Hey, you got a nice movie here. I like it.
Be ashamed if someone makes it Cloverfield.
I know there is a complaint out there by people that J.J. Abrams puts like sexy women in a lot of his movies. Like he puts women in their underwear and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's that notorious
I ain't
scene
complaining.
from Star Trek Into Darkness where what's her name, Alice Eve,
Yeah.
which is like, I'm thankful to JJ for that shot because that's a good shot, but also it don't make no damn sense.
It's not in Star Wars, not in Star Trek.
Star,
So did you remember that
Star Wars
scene
is
in
a
Star
Disney
Wars?
movie, Dylan?
Don't you remember that
It's
scene in
not in
Star Wars
Super 8.
where Ray just like freaking takes her top off and she's
Dude, I wish.
Super 8 stars children, Dylan.
So that doesn't happen in Mission Impossible 3. This theory holds no
Mission
water.
Impossible stars Tom Cruise, Dylan.
You say Tom Cruise can't be sexy?
I'm saying he's not a woman. The problem is J.J. Abrams shows off women.
What are some fucking
Episode 1 of Lost it has 20 minutes of a woman twerking with her booty out, dude.
No, this actually comes to mind because I told you before that I was watching the chronological edit of Lost, where they edit the movie into chronological order. I should shout out our pal Ken Edwards has a podcast where they're recapping those episodes, and he's watching it with someone who's never seen Lost, so it's an interesting podcast. I will recommend it. It's called Pushing That Button. Go check that out. But they talked about it because they got to the part. They got to the pilot episode, which is directed by James, and there's a shot of Kate in her underwear in the ocean for seemingly no reason. It's just her in the ocean looking good.
What's underwear but bathing suit?
I mean, we still don't need to be in a bath. They show a woman in her bathing suit too. Okay.
And Star Trek, so like, that's the thing is he's only directed so few movies.
Right.
Mission Impossible 3, Star Trek, Super 8, Star Trek Into Darkness, and Force Awakens, and Rise of Skywalker.
So 2 times he did it, and he's a bad guy now.
2 times he did it. Well, 3 times. He also did it in Star Trek. There's a scene, but like she's in a bed.
That's one of the 2. What's the 3rd time?
Star Trek Into Darkness, she's like changing her outfit.
Ah.
And like he turns around and she's like,
so he did
peeking.
He did it twice in Star Trek?
He did it in one and the other. Well, the first one, it makes sense because like
You did it in the good one, then you did it in the bad one.
Because Chris Pine
you're
and
talking
a
about
space
sex.
woman are in bed.
What'd you say, Brett?
That sounded like you're talking about sex. He did it in the good one, then he did it in the bad one. Should we talk about which 2 movies we're talking about?
Yeah, what are we doing next?
What are we doing next?
So next week, boy oh boy, I hope you set aside some time.
Oh God.
No, I don't think it's too bad. These are long, but it's not too bad. Okay, here we go. The movie that beat the Twilight Saga New Moon. So this is better than Twilight Saga New Moon. We're talking Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest.
We just finished.
We just watched
We just
this.
endured this.
Dead Man's Chest. On the bright side, it's going against the movie that beat Wedding Crashers, Avengers Endgame.
Come on. We just did this.
That's what this tournament is. Get ready to say that a lot.
I thought you were gonna give us a new seed. I thought we were gonna have like Terminator 2 or something.
No,
Every other week has a seed.
the new seed will be next week. So Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest versus Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, we're gonna have to really figure out the format of how we talk about 2 movies we've already talked about.
Guys, I gotta say, my colon key is gonna get worn out because both of these movies got a colon in the title.
I thought you were saying your colon needs to get checked.
I mean, my colon key does because Avengers Endgame, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. I'm gonna have to hit this colon 2 times.
All right, well, we might as well get started now. 2 of the longest freaking movies I've ever seen in my life.
Wait, don't we like Avengers Endgame? I'm confused here. I thought you guys.
I do, but it takes up so much time.
I've seen it so many times.
We'll watch it again, MFer. That's what we.
I still will probably be as much confused with Dead Man's Chest as I was
This time, maybe watch the first one. I'm assuming if you want to set aside.
No.
If you want to set aside.
Maybe I'll do that on my spare time. Are we allowed to watch these movies in 2 speed?
Listen, I haven't set the rules. You can do however you want, but I'm gonna watch these movies again. Both Disney movies, both on Disney Plus, so that's fun.
No Voodoo account.
Yeah, no
Theoretically.
no voodoo issue here.
Voodoo issue.
That voodoo that you do. Well, this has been fun.
All right. Well,
Reference to One Night Werewolf. Wow, really going at our audience there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So strap in. Get your. This would be over 6 hours, right? A little over 6 hours of movies.
it'll feel like 10.
I don't know. Endgame is fun. It's the other one I'm worried about.
All right, guys.
Dustin, you can rewatch the part you missed when you showered last time.
I got a feeling I'm gonna have to take a bigger shower.
a bigger
We just watched that movie like a month ago. I thought it was gonna be an old one.
I thought we would have more time.
Remember when I just want to talk about on that episode, I was giving you guys a bunch of second chances because you did not pick New Moon, even though you talked about how much you liked New Moon. I was like,
yeah, you talked us out of it,
I was like,
which we're now regretting.
I was talking you into New Moon, and you two were both like, no, Pirates of the Caribbean's better.
No,
Go back and listen to the episode.
that's not what happened.
I was like, you guys.
Because we were saying it's fun to watch, it's dumb, it's stupid. We had a good time watching it, and you were like, yeah, but you can't say you like a movie better because it's stupider.
Guys, go back, listen to the episode when we're in the voting thing. Yes, I might have said that during the podcast, but when we're finally voting, I picked Pirates of the Caribbean, and both of you guys did, and I was confused because you were talking so good about New Moon, and I was like, guys, you need to pick the movie you think should move on, and you were both like, no, Pirates is a better movie, it's well made, and I gave you guys a bunch of chances to pick New Moon.
It is a technically good movie.
Hey, save it for the pod next week.
That's his review on the DVD. Technically, it's a good movie.
No, it's not. Technically, it's a good movie. It is a technically good movie.
Oh. Okay, we'll tune in next week for Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest versus Avengers Endgame. See you next time.
I already know who's going to win, but it'll be fun.
Bye.
Hey, you want to do it right now?